Okay, so this is Yogi Lang, and I'm here in Munich, and you're watching Interviewing the Legends.
Hello, once again, everyone. I'm your host, Rissettio, and welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends, brought to you by the Rockstar Chronicles Series 1, my new book featuring over 45 intimate conversations with the greatest music legends the world will ever know, available now at bookbaby.com and amazon.com. Yogi Lang took his first steps in music as a keyboard player and singer in bands at school. His growing love in analog synthesizers then turned his bedroom into a bubbling, swirling spaceship. At the end of the 1980s, he gave up his social work studies and switched to a school of audio engineering. Working in studios had already increasingly become his main occupation. After successful studio years, it was time to go back to his roots, a band, writing songs together, performing live, all the things that made Lang choose the path of music in the first place. RPWL was originally formed as a Pink Floyd cover band. The band's name is a combination of the first letters of the original four members' last name: Rissettio, Postl, Wallner, and Lang. Their debut album, God Has Failed, in 2000 was so well received that they decided to continue and have done so to the present day. Yogi and guitarist Kali Wallner also built the farm studios close to Munich Airport so that they could work on the band's recordings, and in 2010 founded their own record label, Gentle Art of Music. Working with other bands and artists in the studio is still part of Lang's life. Subsignal, Blind Ego, and of course Ray Wilson, to name just a few. In 2016, the band released a live album containing a full performance of Pink Floyd's The Man and the Journey. Lang has also released two solo albums, No Decoder in 2010, and his latest work, A Way Out of Here, which we're going to be talking about in just a few minutes. Please welcome singer, songwriter, musician, producer, and founding member of RPWL, Yogi Lang, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Hey, thank you. How are you? Where do you have all this information? I listened. It's very interesting.
It's called research.
Okay, hey, cool.
I got to tell you, man, I first discovered you on Morrow.com, the prog radio station, which I love. You know, there's not many stations that play all prog music anymore.
Okay.
I heard you sing. I can't remember the song. I don't know if it was from your solo album or with the band, but I could have sworn, I said, man, this is a new David Gilmour tune.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's always to be, you know, when you Pink Floyd is like, or David Gilmour, it's an honor, you know. I wasn't upset about all those things about, hey, they sound like Pink Floyd or something. So it's I always understood that as an honor. So there could be better bands, couldn't there?
Yes. It is an honor. Number one, there is no more Pink Floyd, okay? And David Gilmour, you know, he's getting up there in age, you know, let's face it. So it's good to have someone with that same talent as a David Gilmour. And your band is incredible. You know, not only did you start out as a Pink Floyd kind of cover band, but you went into your own destination. You know, and not many people can say that.
Yeah, I remember when we started off, and it was, as you said before, after all these years in studios and working there, I met Kalle, and I recorded a band with him in the early 90s that was called Violet District. And we just decided, I think it was in 1997, to form our own band, or at least to play live. That was the intention,
right?
To do so. And we met, like you said, Rissettio, Postl, Wallner, Lang was the band, and we were just the four guys who play, four songs, but over 2 hours. And what we did was we jammed over old Floyd songs, so we never covered the new ones. I was always interested in get the idea of a song and play it in our own style. And I mean, like we did it with The Man and the Journey.
Right.
That was kind of a visit the old days.
Exactly.
When we like Cymbeline, like all this green is the color. This old stuff. I loved it when I really was young and I started to listen to music. And so this is the story about the Pink Floyd cover band. I at least to this time, I don't know if people really got that these are Floyd songs, because we do. You may know the Olympic Tower in Munich.
Sure.
And every year we do a Christmas concert there.
Right.
And it's called Psychedelic Christmas. And there's a rock museum. And he booked us. It was 10 or 15 years ago, the first time. And let's try to play some old songs. And we, of course, we did a couple of Pink Floyd songs, old songs, as we did it when we started off. And I remember we made a short break, and an old lady came to me and said, "Hey, this is wonderful. You're playing wonderful songs, but do you really play Pink Floyd afterwards?" And I said, "Hey, this is what we play all the whole time." And so, but I mean, who knows songs like Cymbeline this old stuff. They don't know it. Careful That Aches Eugene, A Saucer Full of Secrets.
Right.
For most of the people, Pink Floyd starts right at let me say 73, and maybe they. And so this is where they start their musical experience with Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I admire that you went back to the early days of Pink Floyd, because like you said, most cover bands are not going to do that. It just shows you how intelligent you guys are.
But what I really love, and trust me, I had to convince the guys to play the Man and the Journey, because I played them a couple of bootlegs, and I got the first phone call. We just shared it, and I got the first phone call with "Are You Going Mad?" Because it's if you play it, you get what they did afterwards.
Exactly.
This is the crazy thing about the old songs, because especially Man and the Journey, being the first concept album that Roger Waters tried to gather together.
Yeah,
it's not far away from Dark Side of the Moon. It's not far away from Wish You Were Here from the Wall. It's just I mean they grew with the music, and the music changed, of course. But the basic idea to have the simple song, to have let me say a big idea over the whole thing. So I mean, this was the real after splitting. You have this. I think when it works perfectly, it's the musical input of David Gilmour, and it's the lyrical input of Roger Waters. And if you split that, you can either get that or that.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to get both. I mean, he made a great. Roger Waters made great shows. David Gilmour made great shows. But it was at least David Gilmour, and it was Roger Waters. So
I was blown away by David Gilmour's first solo album. I loved it.
Me too.
I had Rick Wills on the show, and he lives around here. I live in Florida. He lives a few minutes away from me. He was on that album with David Gilmour, and he was David Gilmour's best man at his wedding. But I just love that album. It's a little Pink Floyd, but it's David Gilmour all the way.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You really came into your own with your solo albums. Your music, your solo albums is exactly what I'm all about. I love it.
Really?
It's a great 5 stars all the way, man, on No Decoder and A Way Out of Here. Both of them. They're fantastic. And I really mean that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's when I started off with with it, or when I had the idea to do solo album, it was I think in about 2005. We had the idea at the same time. Kalle wanted to do some solo stuff because his musical input would have been much harder if you subtract me out of the whole business.
Yeah.
And my musical input would change a bit if you put away Kalle. And so we both had the idea, let's do a solo. He was quicker. But at least because I had to mix it and I had to spend much time on his and couldn't do mine. But I had a lot of fun doing it, and I had always this idea of calling it No Decoder. And when I presented Kalle the name, he said, "Yes, this is your name," because he it's always have been hard for me as a even as a kid, but later to have this connection to the real world. You know, it's just with who the hell is decoding or encoding what is coming in and what is getting out. And Kalle has, if I'm talking to someone, Kalle always has the feeling that he has to translate what I'm saying. Hey, don't care. What he means is, and then he says it in his own words, and then it's queer. But it's this was the reason for No Decoder, and I had so much fun to do it.
He's a great guitar player, by the way, Kalle. He's a really good guitar player.
He is. I think I engineered his band the first time in '88, and I engineered a lot of bands. And it was, I remember I was just, pulling all the faders up, and they started playing, and I thought, man, this is a guitar player.
Yeah.
Because even when he started off, he has this tone in what he's playing. He plays the right tones, and he plays the right notes, and he plays it in the right tune, and he plays it with the right sound. But at the first note he plays, I hear, that's him. And this is something I was really I was really enthusiastic, and I wanted to do their album. And I remember I did it. I didn't call for much money, so it's because I really wanted to do it.
Sure, yeah.
To play with him. And I mean, you always see in the future what it's all about. So I did his album. We always had contact, and in 1997. We just decided to do our own project. So it's cool.
Yeah, you guys are a good team, definitely. No Decoder, man. I want to tell you some of my favorite songs. Sense Value. Wow.
Okay.
Hell of a prog rocker there. A Million Miles Away, Sail Away, Our Modern World, Sacrifice. Not only these great songs, but these are great titles. They're incredible titles. I first listened to A Way Out of Here, and I said, No Decoder can't be as good as A Way Out of Here. And then I listened to No Decoder. I said, man, this is just as good. It's you're incredible, man, and everyone in the band is just so talented. And I really mean that.
Yeah, it's a bit different because I really wanted to get more to the core of the songs in The Way Out of Here, just leaving out everything what it doesn't need, and really playing the songs and this is quite a difference. And so you see the No Decoder is if I say it in production, it's an overdub production, and most of the work in A Way Out of Here, the whole rhythm section and the whole things is a live recording. And so I was really it was a lot of fun doing it. And I had at No Decoder, I had more the feeling to, you know, to just to work more on it and more on it and more on it. And A Way Out of Here was, yeah, more. I wouldn't say coming from the heart, but there is. Does it make sense when I say there's less brain?
Yes.
Than it was in No Decoder?
Yeah. Are you a perfectionist, or did you, like with A Way Out of Here, did you just let it flow, you know, and do these quick
That's what I tried to do.
Yeah. It's better that way, isn't it? You know, leave some mistakes in there. It sounds better.
yeah, you have to have good musicians.
You're right.
To do so. And
because you can overdo it. Yeah, you can overdo it, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to I mean, it's hard to have this feeling for the point where you have to stop, you know, because it's now, I mean, there's this point when it goes to that direction or that direction and that direction. If it's good, you can leave it, you know. Or to say it in who said that? If it sounds good, it is good.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you can go into another direction and maybe force it to be exactly that what you mean and go there. But there's this point when you overdo the whole thing, and then it's getting better.
Overproduction. There's a lot of music today is overproduction, you know.
Yes.
I don't like
but
that.
It was the easy thing with No Decoder was I really thought of the bass guitar. And I remember I recorded a couple of tracks, and I was really unsatisfied and called, and I had the opportunity to call Guy Pratt, because
you did? Really?
We were at the same publishing.
Wow.
And I have to go to Munich anyway, and I come by and play all the bass guitars. And so we did that on No Decoder, and we worked on a couple of songs which I couldn't do for No Decoder, but what I did for A Way Out of Here. So it's that was a cool thing to work on. I mean, it's a cool thing to work with extraordinarily gifted musicians anyway. That is one of the really most beautiful things that you can do, is work with other musicians that are really good, that share the same view, and it's that was wonderful about many other things, but this was a wonderful thing with No Decoder, and of course also with A Way Out of Here.
I want to mention to some people, I mean, Guy Pratt was in Pink Floyd with the David Gilmour Pink Floyd.
Yes.
Yeah, and he toured with them, and I had Julian Lennon on the show, and Julian Lennon's good friend with Guy Pratt. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're good friends.
Good.
He mentioned them as well. I like the titles, you know, A Way Out of Here. Of course, David Gilmour did No Way Out of Here.
Yeah,
Shine
that's right.
On Me. Very clever. you know, Shine On Me, the video, that's a very touching video, man. I almost shed a tear on that one, you know?
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's I mean, sounds strange, but that's cool.
It's a little sad too, you know.
It is sad. It is I always have this you know, my mother is now the age of 83, and you know, you're faced at in this age, you're faced with this time when someone is gone, you know. And I wanted to write this song about the fear that you have that someone isn't there.
Yeah.
And so I wrote this song about the guy who is just not believing that she's gone, and he's just living with her as nothing happened. And this is some of my fears is yeah, the nothing that is coming after. I mean, I don't know what's coming up when I die, but I think the more sad thing is when others, because when I'm gone, I can't feel that I'm gone. But but it's always more sad when someone else is gone, not when I'm gone. And so this is one of my fears, I think, that I got, and that I just wanted to tell, in the, as a story in the album.
It makes you realize you got to spend more time with the loved ones, especially with your mom now.
Yes, yes. Every day I'm at her home. Just in the morning, it's like a ritual,
Yeah, good.
I'm going to work into the studio. Excellent. And just before I go there, I drink a coffee with my mom.
Yeah.
And this is, it's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. I had to take care of my mom and dad. My mom had Alzheimer's. She lived till 93. My dad's 96.
Wow.
And I took care of him for years, and now he's with my brother after I took care of him for 15 years. So yeah, but I was fortunate they lived so long,
Yes.
Other people don't have that. They're not that lucky.
Yes, exactly. So this is what the song is about.
It's beautiful. So it's a beautiful song. Whoever orchestrated the video itself, who did that, by the way?
I wrote a storybook.
Right.
And our bass player, Sebastian, is who's also the bass player of Sylvan. You may know the band.
Sure.
Yeah. And he's shooting TV and a lot of I think it's a lot of TV shows that he's shooting, and he has a good friend, and so they came over and we did it together. It's
beautiful.
I'm so old school. I love doing things on my own and not getting it out of hand. You have someone there who says, no, not that way, but that way. And then you can discuss and can do it. So this was, even if the story is so personal, it's a good feeling to have it all in your own hand. And but this is also what we're doing with RPWL. We always, as I said, it's always good to have this extraordinary gifted people, and he's so good with the camera. Yeah, man, it's we tried to. I remember when I came over with the idea of we have to land a UFO in the studio in our place, and he said, "Okay, that sounds interesting. I'm coming." And so we had a kind of a crane, and put a lot of lights in there. And as you may, the song was called "A New World."
Yes,
and it's from our Tales from Outer Space album. And this is so much fun. It's always it's cool sitting in the cinema and watching a movie. Yes, of course, but it's even more fun if you do it.
Exactly. Sure.
And
I'm so into music. I haven't gotten into the video portion yet, and the movies and things like that. I do. I interview a lot of celebrities, also movies and television and things like that. But my life's all been about the music since I was a kid.
Yeah,
I admire you guys so much more than I do actors.
Yeah,
I really do. Didn't you do some production work with advertising and commercials and stuff like that too?
I did through the 90s. I did a lot of songs for not direct, also for advertising, but it's I did a lot of industry music with, I remember there was a car from Audi that was that they wanted to bring out in 92 or 93, and we made the music for it. So we composed the whole music for the whole campaign for the car, and we went to all the, we even were in Detroit at the and at the ferry and had to go to everywhere because they wanted to have this music perfectly designed on it. And I think I got the job because it should be, how did they call it? At least they wanted to have it quadraphonic, and we always played quadraphonic in the past.
Right.
And I knew very well what to do there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was cool. It was not only quadraphonic. I remember we designed the music to fit into it was the same music in the sports area, it was the same music in the family area, and it was the same music in the what was it, in the high price area, yeah. and you went through it, and it was the same music, but it changed character.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're interesting things.
Yeah.
But it was one of the reasons that I wanted to start with music again, because I mean, it sounds funny, it is funny, and maybe it's yeah, of course it's well paid, you know.
Very well paid.
Yes, but it's not the reason why I started off doing
I agree.
music. So I made this cut at the end of the 90s, and the first thing I did was recording God Has Failed. That's what my first thing that I did after this. Yeah, this is what I call studio years. Because
You're excellent in the studio too, by the way. You're a great engineer, you know. Are there other bands that are contacting you to use the studio and have you produce their albums?
Yes, of course. And but our main intention that we had was what we're doing with bands like Sylvan or Subsignal, that you just can provide a label release, you can provide publishing, you can provide the recording, you can provide the production. And if this fits together, it's really, you have everything in your hand. Perfect. And you don't have to ask anyone about, I mean, at least what we're doing with RPWL, we don't have to ask anyone if we could do that or not. We just do it. And so to do that with other bands was one of our intentions when we made this studio, which is it's a big house, you know. There's a rehearsal room, and there's 2 studios, and there's the room for the label. And yeah, this is really, yeah, like when I was young, this was something that I dreamed of, I think.
Do you have the equipment in the studio, like piano or organ or synthesizer?
We have all the equipment. Yeah. And yeah, we are, yeah, we just sailing the ship, you know.
Beautiful.
We're the captain.
With the captain, yeah. Huh. Is it near the airport? Is the studio near the airport?
Yeah, it's really near. So if you come to Munich, just give us a call. Yeah. It's about 2 or 3 kilometers. So it's
perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to go back to your solo album real quick. One song in particular reminded me of another band. Oh, if I can find it. Oh yeah, Don't Confuse Life with a Thought. You know who that sounded like a little bit? Like Barclay James Harvest, which is another band I love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to Barclay James Harvest for well, many years, but I remember that it was by the way, besides Supertramp, that I never listened again, but I really listened when I was young.
Yeah.
And also Barclay James Harvest, and there was, how was this album called? I even can't remember, but it's, does it? I hadn't Barclay James Harvest in mind, but maybe I have it in the heart.
I love progressive rock. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
All these guys I grew up with, Genesis.
Yes.
I just had Steve Hackett on the show the other day, and Ned Sylvan, who is the lead singer of Genesis Revisited. I love talking to those guys, and you fit right in, you guys should be bigger. Do you want to be bigger? Do you want to be one of those guys?
I don't know. I feel comfortable how it is, to be honest. So it's, when you play, it's always, may it sound strange, but when you play big shows and when you play big open airs, for example, we played a couple of them, you're playing, it's like playing to one guy, and it's just a mess,
Yeah.
And if you're in the club, you're playing to 400, 500 guys. So it's what I want to say is this is more fun.
Yeah.
This is much more fun, and it's I find myself just thinking of, I mean, it's you shouldn't have too much mind on stage.
Yeah.
You should be more hard.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes when you look there, and I understand this feeling lonesome in front of so many people. And when you're playing in a club, it's more playing for friends. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And so I don't know. So I'm not maybe bigger. I don't know if I would like that. But it feels good to go on the street without wearing a mask when I go somewhere that nobody can see me. It's I don't want to. What I definitely never wanted is to be some kind of celebrity or something. It's that I really feel with them.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't imagine a life that is so so dependent on the public.
Right.
This is something because this is maybe the main reason why I don't bug around too much in social media, because it's I don't feel much comfortable when people are getting too many, and at least I don't know what the rest of the band thinks, but I'm really comfortable as it is.
always attracted to the underground bands,
Yes.
You go into a record store and see an album and really cool prog rock cover, and nobody else knows about this band, so you buy it, and that's kind of like what you guys are right now. If you were back in the 70s, you'd be on album rock, radio, like the underground stations,
Yeah.
But you'd eventually be big.
Who knows? The damn thing is that if the train is rolling, you wouldn't stop.
No, you can't stop it.
So, and it is, if it feels comfortable or not. If you're famous, you're famous.
Right. So here's the big question. Are you going to come to the States? You're going to come to America?
We've been at Rossfest, which sadly isn't anymore.
Right.
And we've been to Calprog. It was in LA? Yeah,
I think so.
Calprog, yeah. We've been to what is called near the border in Mexico, Mexicali.
Mexicali.
Yeah. And it's always been great. I remember the last time we were at Rossfest. It was in 2008 or 9. Can't remember. We just stayed there another couple of weeks, just in New York. I me as a small town guy, it's very attracting to see this big, big international city with this tremendous history. And if you look over the Hudson, it's really, I got goosebumps when I'm there. It's really, and you see both sides of the story that is in New York. So it's you can see, if you want, you can see a dark future, and if you want, you can see a bright future.
Right.
It depends on depends on where you look at. And
those sound like lyrics to a new song. It does. You can see a dark future. You can see a bright future. You know, I like that. Some other events a lot of Prague guys are doing are those cruises. You know, they have the Prague cruises. You know, I could see you guys doing that.
No, we didn't do it.
You should be invited to those. You know, would you do it?
Why not?
Would you do that? Yeah,
definitely. It sounds fun. Sounds like fun. So
it is fun. You see all the other guys on board, you know? It's pretty cool. I'm friends with Annie Haslam from Renaissance, you know, she does those cruises and things like that. I want to mention some of your very popular songs, RPWL, that gets a lot of hits on YouTube. Hole in the Sky. Very, very popular tune.
It was the first tune we wrote.
Is that right? That was the first one.
Yes. But it's no, it's not exactly the first one we wrote, but I remember I was working in the studio on, I don't know, I think it was some German hard rock band. I was in the studio and engineering, and Kalle came by in his, at that time, WV Golf that he had, and he said, come around because I have a new idea. And he played the song, and from the first 10 seconds that I heard this, it was clear, okay, now we start. So it was just this starting point, you know. I heard this melody and I thought, let's make an album now. I remember we had a couple of songs that we wrote before but never recorded.
Right.
And but this was it's quite often that you make songs and you may have 5 or 6 or whatever, but you need this starter for the album, this reason why you're doing the album. And Hole in the Sky was that reason for what later was God Is Fate. Yes. Yeah.
It's like starting to write a book once you get that, you know, first paragraph.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. We Are What We Are, The Keeper. That's another very popular tune on YouTube.
Beyond Man and Time. This was our, I think, our longest production that we did.
Really?
And it was very, very, we could see the point when there's, the point when it's getting, that we talked about, when it's getting better. We really worked on that, but I had to, because I wanted to have this story about this guy and on the search of a new believing,
right?
A new reason, a new story of the world, you know. And I remember I had this big paper on the wall in the studio where I had all these songs like coming to stations on a trip, you know, coming to certain points on the trip.
Right.
And it's Yogi, it's enough. No, we have to reach that point. We did another song, and it was, but it was a cool production.
Yeah. Unchain the Earth, The Scientists, another one.
From the same album.
In Your Dreams.
From the first album.
From the first album, yeah. And of course, Light of the World. Another incredible track.
From the news.
Yeah. I like A New World. Talk about the video.
The UFO landing.
The UFO.
Front.
I love. Is that the one you were talking about? That you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that was in the studio.
Yeah, that is.
I didn't know that. Really?
The scene at the very first, at the beginning, when we are.
It's incredible.
When we party a bit.
Yeah.
This is Studio One.
It was awesome. You guys are good at that. I got to ask you though, what are your thoughts about UFO activity on our planet? What do you think?
I always was. I mean, the first thought that I have is it's. In my opinion, it's kind of stupid to really think that we are alone.
Right.
Because it's impossible to be alone. It's and when I was a kid, I was so fascinated about UFOs, aliens in history. And one of the first books I wrote, one of the first books I read was Deniken. I think you know him.
No,
he's one of these. He's one of these writers who think they have been here just a couple of thousand years ago.
Okay.
And trying to tell the story of the past with the that they have been here.
Okay, was he reincarnated?
Building
was he
the
time traveler? Or?
No, I think how could you build the pyramids? Of course, because the alien were here, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was really fascinated as a kid. It never. I watched all Star Treks.
Me too. Of course.
It was this, besides of having fun watching it, it was Roddenberry's view of the future that you have to see, I'm a kid of Europe, because when I was really young, I remember the first time we went to another country. It was Greece, I think, when I was 17 or something. You took your rucksack and go to holidays.
Right.
And you had to wait at the border till they let you in. And with having Europe as kind of the Europe as it is at the moment, you just can go everywhere. I mean, you're used to go from Florida to Wisconsin or wherever, but we were not used. And my kids, they couldn't imagine a living with borders, and to have this view of everything is possible, everyone is equal, everyone is, this is so, how should I say, it made me really have a belief into future when I was a kid, to be honest. So Star Trek was a little bit more than watching your series that you like. It was more giving you kind of a sparkle to have a good belief into the future. I agree. To be not alone makes me, it doesn't make me, as I think most of the people are have fear about that. I absolutely wouldn't fear. It is kind of a yeah. It makes me have a good looking forward to the future.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, me too.
This is what I feel when I got that feeling that I'm not alone. So
Sure.
it's a good feeling, you know.
You
And
know,
so I don't know if there are UFOs or not. I don't care. I'm quite sure, you know, I'm quite sure that we're not alone.
yeah.
But if they are here in the part of the galaxy, I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
If they come,
Fine.
cool. If they don't come, yeah, I don't know.
You know, it's so funny. Many of the Star Trek episodes and things that Roddenberry created came true. Like the
A lot of
communicator,
things.
the TV
A lot of
screen that you
things.
see each other. But many episodes, you know, things came true from that, you know, or was developed from Star Trek.
Yeah.
You heard William Shatner's going to space? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Finally, right?
Kalle wrote me that he will, but I heard of it, and I sent him there is this William Shatner doing Major Tom in the I think it was the science fiction. Where was it? But it was a big. Wasn't it kind of a fairy where he did it?
Yeah.
This is, and yeah, it is. I love that.
You know, Shatner's into prog rock. He likes prog rock. He
Oh, really?
He works with Billy Sherwood from Yes, and he's done a lot. He's done a few albums with Billy. Yeah,
cool.
I think he's what 90. He's close to
90.
probably,
Yeah,
90 years old.
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
He looks good though.
Yeah,
Looks very good. Yeah.
yeah.
I want to mention
So-
the current members of RPWL. Let's give them a
Yeah.
plug, okay? Of course, you on vocals and keyboards, songwriting, engineering. Kali is on guitars, and he's been with you since '97.
Yes, and he's doing really most of the. I think he's doing most of the songwriting.
Oh, he is. He is doing
Yes,
the
he
for
did.
the band.
He
Okay.
does. Yeah,
But your solo album, that's mostly you.
yeah, that's only
That's
me.
you. Okay.
Yeah.
And Marcus, he's doing keyboards as well, because sometimes you sing and then he's doing the keyboard.
Yeah, he has the bad job to play what I what I had in my mind when I played it. Most of the things in the studio I play myself.
Right, right.
So it's really, really a good feeling to have a keyboard player that plays the whole things live as you want to do it. So
he's your Richard Wright, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Mark, how do you pronounce Mark's last name on drums?
Turio.
Okay. And he's your drummer since 2008. I guess he's the newest guy in the band, right? Yeah.
Yes. Apart from the bass player.
Okay.
Which always like when we did our first tour, it was I think what happens to most bands that you are just yeah, look guys, we have 14 gigs,
right,
but I have 10 days holidays. And it's, yeah, what should you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we need a solution to play live. And so the bass player was, we swapped bass player from time to time. And now is Sebastian played for the last 2 tours.
Okay.
And it was quite fun.
Yeah.
It's fun with him.
Well, now you bring on Guy Pratt permanently. Invite Nick Mason to play some drums sometimes. Invite David Gilmour to play with Callie. And you and Roger Waters can switch vocals once in a while. They probably do it. I'm sure they do it. Why not? Now, what happened to Chris and Phil?
Phil had exactly that. Chris had exactly that problem, which I told you, that he hadn't enough time.
Okay.
To do all the gigs.
Right.
And which happened often to our bass players. So it's, but he's around. He's in the same city that I am, and we meet from time to time. And we did his first solo album. We recorded in the studio, and his second solo album was also on our label.
Okay. Excellent.
So it's there's still a connection, and Phil is, it's so funny. We did this with the last recording we did was re-recording God Has Failed, and we did this let me say concert movie, but it wasn't a concert movie because we were standing in a circle and filmed it just to celebrate this 20 years of the first album, because we all know this COVID situation, and they dropped our tour, and so we did it like a movie with and we in the extras, in the bonus tracks, there is us, the four guys that were Chris, Phil, Kalle and me. So and listened through all the songs and just telling our thoughts. When we did it, when we recorded it, when we wrote it, and this was so funny. Really, it was so nice to meet, especially Phil again. That I always have contact with him, but we meet once a year, not more. And it was really, if you listen to that, if you watch the bonus tracks and you see them, you see us four guys, you can still feel the special feeling that was when we came together, and I could feel it why we did this whole thing with the band. It was so special. And there's one bonus track you can watch where we just sit there and talk about the beginning, how it all began. And there's one when we are sitting in the studio and just watch and just listen to the first album. And with a couple of, I found a couple of recordings on some strange video cassettes, and which we included in that. So it's God Has Failed. The new recording is really a nice thing for all the maybe for all the listeners who want to dig more into this beginning.
You have a great following, but I'm afraid most of it's probably in Europe. I want Americans to discover your band, and that's another reason why you're on the show. So if you ever need a PR guy in the States, let me know. I'll promote the hell out of you guys.
That's cool.
You guys are awesome, man.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Okay, let's go to the future. What are you guys working? Are you working on another album or another solo album? What's happening?
I'm working on a new solo album of Kalle,
Oh, good. Okay.
and but he's not doing Blind Ego. I convinced him to do a Kalle Wallner album
Okay.
because he came up with a couple of instrumental ideas which were really good, and yeah, we both had the idea not doing a Blind Ego album, but doing a Kalle Wallner. This is with his ideas,
Really?
doing, because his solo album really went into the direction of having a band.
Mm-hmm.
So Kalle more or less has more a second band than a solo work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It just went more and more into this direction. And so it was a nice idea to have this Kalle Wallner thing. And this is what we're working
Okay.
on. And I want to do a new solo album.
Yes.
And we want to do a new RPWL album. And it
Okay.
should all be realized in this year. No, in the next year, of course. So let's see.
Yeah.
I think the first thing will be Kalle's solo.
Okay.
Album, I'm sure.
Who else is going to be on that album, on Kalle's album?
Marco Miniman is playing drums.
Really? Oh.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And guess what? He's just, he was living here in just 10 minutes from here.
Mm-hmm.
His parents live.
Okay.
And he raised here. So
really?
he's also from this area here.
Yeah.
And we convinced the singer of Subsignal to sing one song. Mm-hmm. So there's one, it's all instrumentals except of one song. And yeah, the rest he's playing by himself.
Yeah.
He's a great bass player, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. He's both guitar and bass player. Yeah.
Yeah. He played, when I played a short tour with the Yogi Lang thing, right. He played bass.
Really?
So it was really fun.
And you play a lot of instruments in the studio on your solo album.
Yeah, sure. But I shouldn't play. I know I play guitar from time to time, but this is a thing that I shouldn't play. But I have a great for my solo work. I'm lucky to have a really good guitar player from Spain, Thorsten Weber, and he's a great guy. I love playing with him. So it's what a pity that with all this COVID thing, and I think we played 4 or 5 shows, not more. Yeah. So but it was great fun.
How is the COVID situation in Germany? Is it better?
To be honest, I can't imagine that they could. It's getting better because it's we have about 70%, I think, nearly. That are vaccinated. Vaccinated.
Good.
And so it should be better, but to be honest, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. You're right about that.
Yeah. So we are all. I mean, even all the artists are looking forward, but nobody knows what's coming up next year. What is really obvious, it's that it's all going into the direction of 2G. So it's even you had it and you are over it, or you are vaccinated,
right?
And with these two things, you can visit concerts. And there is right at the moment, it's you can also test yourself.
Yes.
But I don't think that is maybe a couple of weeks, but then it's over and even you are vaccinated or not.
Yeah. I just got the booster yesterday. The booster shot. Yeah. 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 I believe in the vaccinations. I mean, why not? You know, I don't see. I mean, there's a lot of people that were against the vaccinations that actually died because they didn't get the shot.
Yes,
You
yes.
know.
I mean, I know a lot of people with long COVID,
Yeah.
which is hard
Yeah.
for them. So it's yeah, let's see what's coming up. But I'm really looking forward.
I
So
want to
it's-
mention you got some tour dates coming. They're not till November, right?
Yes, yes.
And they're all
We
in Europe.
we already had 4 shows,
Yes.
and it was also for I mean only for vaccinated,
Right.
but it was cool,
Okay.
and it was felt good to play again. So
Exactly.
I mean, it was 1.5 years or something,
Yeah.
but it felt like 10 years, you know. I was going on stage for the first gig. I was thinking, oh, wow, what I'm doing here. And so we had 2 shows in Poland and 2 shows here in Germany. It was really good. It was cool. And we have another 3 shows in Hanover. So not at your Hanover, but at ours. And 1 more gig, as I said, in the Olympic Tower.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have the in June of next year, you got the Midsummer Prague Fest. You have Night of the Prague Festival also. And let's see, you've got the Psychedelic Christmas
Yes.
coming up. That's in December, of course, near Christmas.
Yeah. This is the thing with the old Floyd songs where we play half, as we still play half and half.
You play God Has Failed, the set 1, and then you have Pink Floyd, and then you have the best of RPWL and some of your shows. So you kind of mix it up. Yeah, which is great. Amsterdam, I would think you guys would be really popular. Have you been to Holland?
At the Boerderij, yes. It's
Yeah.
close to Amsterdam, and I mean, it's doing a new album, doing a new tour. This would be fun. So let's, fingers crossed.
Yes.
We get this damn COVID.
I know it
to their knees.
It screwed up everybody, Yogi. It did.
Yeah.
The whole music industry.
Yes.
Yogi, here's your final question. And
yes.
I ask this to everybody, and I get some really interesting answers. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, Field of Dreams like the movie, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Oh. He has to live?
No, doesn't have to.
No.
I
would like to do maybe I would like to do a video with having Gene Roddenberry hands-on.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you are a Trekkie, aren't you?
I like that. It's I'm a Trekkie, but more the I just love that vision of the future.
Yeah.
So it's, and if we talked about what's all the things that were coming through this Star Trek thing, one thing we missed, and this is having no money.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing. Maybe a cool vision. A cool vision of Gene Roddenberry, but still not here yet.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to see Gene Roddenberry. He did a big talk on Star Trek, and he had movies and this and that, and it filled an arena. There was like 20,000 people there to watch him do a seminar. This was a long time ago. Yeah, I got to ask you. Have you met, besides Guy Pratt, have you met anybody from Pink Floyd?
No.
Yeah. Who would you like to meet from Pink Floyd? Who would be number one?
I have to admit that Rick Wright was one of the reasons why I started off playing keyboards. Because I remember I loved a lot of things, and I think the first record I got from Floyd was Animals when it was coming out in '77.
Yeah.
And the first album I heard was Dark Side of the Moon. But when I heard the first seconds of Wish You Were Here, of Shine On You Crazy Diamond, I was sure I want to have this synthesizer.
Yeah.
No matter what's how much money it was. And I remember I had a bicycle, and I went to Munich, which was a couple of kilometers, and I bought a Moog Prodigy, which was a small Moog synthesizer at that time. And I was coming home and trying to get this sound. And this was the beginning of playing keyboards. And I remember my father said, I'll buy you an organ, but you have to learn it. And so the only possibility to learn that was in church. And so I learned organ in the church.
It's a good place, though.
Yeah, and had an organ at home and a Moog. And so from that time, I always tried to find out how they make sounds. And this was the beginning. So I think Rick Wright would be the first.
Yeah, I agree.
First one.
Everyone focuses so much on David Gilmour. Without Richard Wright, there would be no Pink Floyd. Okay, because he was the spaciness of Pink Floyd.
Yes, yes. He was. I think he's the reason for this feeling of simplicity.
Yes.
In the whole things, because
I agree.
Not because he's playing less, but he's playing so much the right chord that has to be at that place where he plays it. Exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I love his keyboard playing. There might be a lot of keyboard players that play faster and they play more complicated and they play more chords or whatever, but he plays the right chord at the right time. And this is so fantastic.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit underrated,
He is. He is definitely. He's definitely.
I think he breaks up there in the top 5 of all time for sure,
Yeah.
Yogi, I want to mention A Way Out of Here. It's available at Amazon.com. And good for you. Every album that you guys ever put out is on Amazon.com, because it's always hard. It's always hard to buy some of these albums, especially from Europe,
Yeah, it is. And since COVID, we have our own shop. And we were also selling a lot of things to the US or to Canada or to South America, but with the COVID situation, they stopped the whole there was no packages there was no US, no Canada, no South America, nothing. And so we had to stop it in the shop. And a lot of people were asking, hey, I can't, what should I do? And I think they started this year with an extra of $30 or something to get, and then you never know if it comes, because it could be that they bring it on water and not to fly. We just stopped it. So it's
well, it's so much easier,
especially
on Amazon.
Especially it was hard with Canada, because we have a lot of followers in Canada. So it was, we played there in Quebec, I think 2 times. Was always nice. So it's It's always coming across across the ocean is always something special for me. So
it's funny that you're popular in Canada, because I talked to the guys from Saga, another prog band from Canada, and they're not popular in Canada, and they're from Canada. They're popular in Germany.
Yeah, they are. It's one of the first bands I saw it in a concert. It was in '81 or something, I think.
They're not popular in their own hometown. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I want to mention latest releases from RPWL, God Has Failed, Live and Personal, Live from Outer Space, and Tales from Outer Space. They're all available at Amazon.com. For more information about RPWL, you can visit www.rpl.net. I'm so glad you guys have great websites. Some guys do not update their sites, and they look terrible. And you guys are right up to speed. You guys are on Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram.
So thank you, because all of the props going to Kalle.
Okay.
I'm so glad I could do this Zoom thing here. But I'm not really into that whole stuff.
Right.
I have to,
Well, it's about time we get you some exposure in America here, so because you deserve it. All your albums are fantastic, 5 stars all the way on the solo stuff and all the RPWL stuff. I want to hear more music from you guys, and keep in touch. Let's keep in touch so we can see what you're up to lately. Okay.
Thank you, Ray, so much.
Thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you.
My best to you and your family.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
And hope to meet you soon.
I do too. I really do. Maybe Oktoberfest. Take care, Yogi.
So,
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.